Welcome to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Jody Walls.
I'm Brady Brock.
We're with GumTree Mortgage here in New Albany over on Starling Avenue. We specialize in home financing needs, whether it's a purchase, a refinance, or new construction.
And we're super passionate about trying to help you find the home of your dreams, help you get it financed, just like this one right here.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
You come out flat, you're going to have to get around to make up in the game. If you come out and hit them in the mouth on the first play, we're going to be fine.
This week's Tallahatchie Nutrition Player of the Week, we've got two of them actually, Jeb Boland, Mikhail Cameron. Both these guys had picks, interceptions against Ripley this past week, both huge plays. Jeb's came in the second quarter. McCollins came later in the fourth, kind of put the nail in the coffin for us, though. For Mr. Horn, these guys played a tremendous game. Both of them actually have been Player of the Weeks before, but we appreciate what they did for us Friday night. Appreciate everything that Tallahatchie Nutrition does for us as well.
Absolutely. Great game last week, guys. Look forward to see y'all dominate again this week. Thank you.
Go Bulldogs.
I'd like to welcome you today to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Paul Henry with David Good. The show is brought to you by
GumTree Mortgage, Brady Brock, Jody Walls, also Pam Brown at State Farm. I appreciate both those businesses supporting the show, supporting our program, doing what they do for us every week.
Well, Coach, huge win against Ripley Friday night, right? And honestly, I told people it wasn't a playoff game, but man, did it feel like a playoff game, did it not?
Well, it's your obvious rivalry game, right? I mean, It's been a rivalry game for a long time. It's important to a lot of people. I know after winning the game, just seeing different people come up, shaking my hand, talking about congratulations, it's really easy to see how big a deal it is for people at New Albany and Ripley. Just excited about the way we played, excited to come out on top. Really excited for our kids. Every one of them got to enjoy it, got to be a part of it. It's a win that, they're going to remember for the rest of their life, to be honestly. It's something that, being 7-2, beating an undefeated team on your home field is something that they won't forget.
Well, I thought our defense set the tone immediately. I know they threw a little screen pass to one of their main guys, and man, Logan Deaton came up and made a heck of a play on it, just heck of a lick. And man, it was all of a sudden, it's like, hey, they here to mean business, right?
I think Logan had a tremendous game. He's a guy that, has played pretty well at times. Really needed him to step up and play a little bit better Friday night. He couldn't have done any more. That's exactly what he did. He came down, had made a couple of big hits. Mikhail and Cameron continued to play well, covered number 5, their best receiver. Gave up one reception there. Just a tremendous job by Logan, by Mikhail and Jeb Boland. You saw him come up and continue to tackle well. Caleb Shaw's all over the field. So secondary played physical, but not only secondary, our linebackers and our defensive front for sure set the tone. Playing a Ripley team, a team that likes to run the football, you go into that week knowing that, hey, we got to match their physicality. We got to try to be more physical than they were. Our kids heard about that all week. I think the result of Friday night was us matching that physicality, being more physical, kind of getting after them, and probably just wanting it a little bit more than they did.
Shuffled the offensive line a little bit for this game, I noticed on Thursday night.
Yeah, Michael Hernandez is the guy that's practiced all year, hasn't played as much, but you saw Ripley have 4 really big physical D linemen. We just talked about physicality on the defensive side. Well, their defensive line was very physical too, very experienced. 3 of the 4 were seniors. Just knew that we needed some size and strength up there. Michael's a little bit bigger than Horn. Horn's done a tremendous job for us all year. We'll continue to play a lot. But Michael, just from a strength standpoint and a size standpoint, gave you a bigger body up there. There are 2 defensive tackles. I know Charles Christmas was about 380, something like that. A huge guy that moves well for a big guy, a really, really good player. 77's a little bit younger. I think he's a junior, but another big guy. So we needed to match some of that size, and Michael let us do that. So, him coming in right there at that left guard spot, played well. I know he graded out, I think, second highest of all the linemen. So not only did he play, he came in and played well. And just excited about that depth that we've got on the offensive line is better than it has been in years past. Coach Stubbs got 7 or 8 guys that he can pull in there. And when he does, it's not like you're falling off a lot. They're expected to play well, and Michael was a big example of that.
I know we were talking after the game a little bit. I don't know who our this week's player of the game is, but man, we had several people that stepped up. We had a lot of great plays on both sides of the ball.
Several candidates. Probably one of our most complete games. I think offensively they're a very good defensive team. You know, we had times had to kind of take what they were going to give us, and that was the plan. I think you see them playing cover 4 a whole lot. They're trying to keep their 4 DBs back. And because of that, you want to take what they give you. You know, we got to make sure. You know, we wanted to make sure our screen game was good. We wanted to make sure we hit the underneath passes, and that's what we did a lot of. You know, we also wanted to run the football. We did run the football at times, not as the stats didn't show what we'd like for them to do. We were really close on a lot of it, but like I said, that goes back to that D line that they've got being really good. So, but offensively, we made just as many plays as we needed to. Right? We matched them. Had a huge play with Shumpert over the top, off of they kicked a field goal. We came back, got the ball back in first play. Shumpert got over the top. We missed one of those earlier in the game, which could have been a touchdown. We just didn't quite connect. I think Braden threw the ball somewhere 20-something times. David, I know you'll know. Completion percentage was down just a little bit, but still a really good game that he played. And if you notice, we were really close on a lot of the pass plays where he got just a little bit too much pressure right there at the last minute. Just gave us, didn't quite have enough time to do what we needed to. But man, we played well. Braden continued to make good decisions offensively. The O-line, like you said, stepped up, protected well, and controlled that defensive line. And then our receivers made plays when we needed to. Jeb had a bunch of catches. Caleb Shumpert had a huge catch over the middle. Also, to go along with that, had some first downs on their sideline. Had a big play that led to points where he came back on a vertical route and caught the ball. Just like I said, offensively, I felt like we played well, executed, didn't make too many mistakes, right? And made the big plays when we had to. Defensively, I think they just did phenomenally. They were lights out. I think they set the tone up front with the defensive line. They got after it, and it was clear, like you said, a couple plays, 2 or 3 plays in the game, you knew they were ready to play and got after it.
I noticed a couple of times, speaking of your offensive line, and I've not seen this earlier in the year, we would drop back to pass, and your center was pulling it out to the side. So I know how he'd been watching film to see that guy coming around the end and picking up the guy on the backside.
Right. Well, anytime they brought pressure, he could do that. Conley, he's the uncovered guy. Most of the time all season we play probably more odd fronts where you've got the centers covered, the tackles are covered, and the 2 guards are uncovered. So when we go, big on big protection and whatnot, those guards can be dual threat guys and can rotate. Well, when they had a 4-man front, those guys were locked up and Conley was left uncovered. So he had the ability to slide. If he saw something, he could go. And you don't see it a whole lot with him go over the guard and the tackle to clip somebody off the edge. But that kind of speaks to his athleticism. It speaks to the film study that him and Coach Stubb have done. But yeah, a couple big plays were saved by Conley coming around the edge and helping a tackle or helping pick up somebody off the edge. So, Ethan is an athletic guy. He's playing that. He could play a lot of things for us probably. He could probably be an H-back. He could probably be a linebacker. If you talk to him, he could play quarterback. So, but he's a really good player for us and does a good job. And he's an athletic guy on the front. He's a phenomenal long snapper as well. And when he snapped the ball, one of the big things that he does for us is get down the field fast, So if you're catching a punt, you got somebody in your face. So, but he did a great job right there. Protection, like I said, I think we gave up a couple sacks, and I think Braden was pressured more than we'd like for him to have been. But again, that goes back to Ripley being a really good football team.
But no interceptions.
No interceptions,
I showed
knock on wood right there, but Braden, I think the most important stat that he's got is 22, 23 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions, and all 3 of those interceptions came against an Itawamba team that we feel like we should have beat. But turnovers, those things, kept us from doing that. So Braden's doing a really, really good job making decisions.
He was 14 to 25 for 218 yards and a touchdown. I show he's had 2 touchdowns in every game except the Ripley game as far as passing wise. So, and he also got a rushing touchdown as well. So,
and like I said, we had the ball over to Shumpert that was close that we missed, and then the ball to Jaden Hicks, got tackled around the 1-yard line. So, stats are stats. Those easily could have been changed, But, he's doing really well for us. Only a sophomore, it's hard. We don't think about Braden being a sophomore.
Right.
That's what he is, though. That Joker's got 2 more full years to play football, so he's playing really well.
Also, another stat that I thought was really good, and you mentioned it earlier, we had 6 different guys catch balls. Jeb, 5 catches for 48 yards. Shumpert was 3 catches for 98 yards with a big 74-yard touchdown pass. Simpson had 2 catches. DJ Robinson had a catch. Shaw had a catch. Hicks had a catch. So spreading the ball around very well.
Doing a good job. I think from a week-to-week standpoint, we got to make sure we get Shaw and DJ the ball more, 14 and number 4, because those are tremendous playmakers for us. I think we did have opportunities, and for whatever reason, missed that. A lot of it had to do with pressure, a couple drops, different things. But the first thing that jumps out to me is those guys touching the ball more. Jeb is a guy that, that's just consistent, that anytime we need a hitch or something underneath or we're going on a dig route, he's very consistent. And then Shumpert just made some big plays. Like I said, the touchdown ball was huge. Coming back and making a catch on a ball on this side of the field, on their sideline was a big play that kept the drive going and ended up leading to points. So those guys played really well.
Jeb's kind of your possession type receiver there, and they seem like he and Shettles are on the same page, knowing where one's going to be at all times.
Yeah, timing. They do a lot of routes outside of just practice. Do it, come up here on Saturdays, do it on their own time, do it after practice, those things. But they are definitely have a great relationship, on the same page. Timing is important. But I think Braden just trusts where Jeb's going to be. He knows he's going to be there, and we give him an opportunity. He knows he's going to catch the ball.
Yeah, I was thinking the possessions of this game were very, very important. New Albany ran 48 plays. Ripley ran 61 plays. So for the possession, I know Ripley had the ball a little bit longer than we did, but each of those possessions very, very important.
Yeah, and I think that it's just kind of possessions are one thing. Time of possession is different, right? Just the style of offenses are different. They're going to pound the football. You saw them throw the ball some, but it's not what they do. And when you get them throwing the football, you're in an advantage at that point most of the time. Where we're going to try to spread the ball out. We're going to try to find a matchup, try to find, an area to be successful. One of the favorite things I love about the spread offense is spreading out and then pounding the ball with Keelan Simpson, So we still did that some. We still ran a lot of inside zone that gives our quarterback options of whether to keep the ball, throw the ball. They run midline and veer, and that's something that's the same thing. We're just spread out when we're doing it. But I think absolutely when you get into big games, every possession is important. Every possession's got to count. We talked to our offense a lot about having to score every possession, needing to score every possession. Now, you want to have that mentality. You also want the defense to, to play well, and that's what they did. So, like I said, I think offensively we had a really good game. I think we made the plays when we had to make the plays. We controlled the ball. We executed, and we limited mistakes was a huge part of it.
I think there was 2 big calls. If I remember the first half, it was 4th and 3, and I can't remember if it was first or second quarter, and you went to hard count, right, and we drew Ripley off. That was a big call on your part, making that call.
You want to give yourself an opportunity. We started to go ahead and send the kick team out there, guys on the headset. Offensively, it's a collective thing. Coach Robbins calling plays, Coach Stubbs calling plays, I'm calling some plays, Coach Rico, Coach Curbo. So things happen. You get it out there, but yeah, fortunately, we did get it out there. We wanted to go hard to count, and they jumped. So big play there. That ultimately led to points. A few plays later, we punched in the end zone.
Well, in the second half, I don't remember which play it was right there in the third, where you ran Keelan off the right side there, and he extended that. And I think we were on about the 40-yard line on our end, and then the next play, I think Shumpert scores maybe.
Yeah, well, and we went for it on 4th down deep in our territory. And
right.
That's something that you typically want to do a whole lot, right? But we went with a heavy package with Keelan Simpson right there, direct snapped it, and everybody in the stadium knew we were running power to the right. But you still got to stop it. We got some big guys over there. We've got pullers coming up, and then we got Keelan Simpson with the football right there. So, it was just where we felt really strongly about getting 1 yard and possessions. You talked about it; they were huge. We felt like we needed to stay out there a little bit longer. I think we got that first down. Ended up punting, 4 plays later after a penalty. But it kept our defense off the field a little bit longer. It gave them time to recover and breathe for a minute. And we added a little bit of time of possession and field position off of it as well.
We're very good in the penalty department this week. I showed New Albany had 5, Ripley had 8 penalties, so very, very good for the Bulldogs. We didn't jump off sides this week at all, I don't think.
I can't stress how much we work on those things, jumping off sides and whatnot. And Coach Saints, beats his head up against the wall all the time, and those guys do too, because they know. But, you're asking a guy to be amped up, to be ready to play, and then you just got to wait, And 2 weeks ago, we played a team that did some things, whether they put their hand down late, different things that that were designed to do those things. And so, but certainly I think the big thing that from Friday nights was we were well disciplined, right? We limited penalties. We didn't make mistakes on both sides of the ball. It was one of our better discipline games, one of our better effort games. And like I said, I just think the guys were ready to play. They did their job. They didn't try to do too much. And we came out on top. Again, we tell people all the time, tell this team all the time, we're a really good football team. We've got guys that can make plays. We've got an offensive line that can protect. We've got a defensive line that gets after it. We've just got to play. If we play well, we're going to be tough.
Held Ripley to 234 yards rushing. I know that's not where you want to be, but you held them. They usually average anywhere from 250 to 300.
Well, and it's the biggest part of their offense too, right? They're not a team that goes out there and throws the ball around a whole lot. So if you can hold them around that 200-yard rushing, they probably hadn't been a whole lot of other offense with that. And so 200 yards of offense is pretty good right there.
Yeah, 21 yards passing. We had 2 interceptions as well. So I think they completed more passes to our guys than they did to their own guys.
And those are 2 big plays. I think, 2 of the bigger plays in the game. I think one of the biggest plays was Jeb's pick in the second quarter. Intercepted, came down on a bootleg play, picked it off from that drag receiver that was dragging across, took it a long way, almost, probably inside the 20 or so. And then we were able to punch it in, but that gave us points right going into halftime and took points away from them because they were driving the field. So that was one of the biggest plays. Then we had Shumpert's ball over the middle that answered to them kicking a field goal. And then a little bit later, McCollum picked the ball off to kind of set the nail in the coffin, so to speak. And we hit him on a big play the next play also to Hicks. So, anytime you get those big change of possessions, a lot of offense, especially us, we're going to try to take a shot or something, do something to keep that momentum. You've got them going. The opponent's kind of hanging their head a little bit. Attacking is what we like to do right there.
And we scored every quarter. It had a touchdown in each quarter, so I thought that was awesome.
And 28 points. With these coachings, me and Coach Murphy have conversations a lot. Just for personal philosophy, we need to score 28 points a game. That doesn't mean some games we need to score more, because we do. But we need to score 28 points a game, and we need them to hold teams to 17 points a game. Because, like I said, I feel like we've got to score more than 17. We need to score 28. So if you're scoring 28 and you're holding teams to 17 as a goal, you're winning a lot of football games. And so we scored our 28. He held them to 10. That came to be true, and ended up winning the football game. But 28 points on a very, very solid defense that Ripley's got, we were proud of.
As far as the defense, we could have several guys on there that were player of the game. But McCollum Cameron, 10 tackles versus Ripley, got 47 on the year plus an interception. Outstanding game by McCollum.
McCollum played a lot last year as a sophomore. Going into this year, we knew that he was a guy that we had McCollum at corner. He was a guy there. We needed to find another one. Logan Deaton, Jalen Nesbitt. Some others, Darren Gilbert, have played that other corner. But McCollum's been that guy that we knew he was going to be there. He's done well. He stayed healthy, and he keeps making plays. We played North Pontotoc. North Pontotoc got a 6'5" receiver, number 3, that, can really, really play the game of football. He's a great athlete. McCollum was on him all night, followed him all night, and had a lot of success against him. Whoever a team comes in here with their best receiver, McCollum is who we're going to put on them. We've got a lot of confidence he's going to be able to play with them.
And he'll hit you too.
Yeah, well, that's, all those guys hit Friday night. Logan Deaton set the tone right out of the gate. McCollum's coming up. And I think Coach Murphy's done a great job with those guys, talking about competition, talking about, knowing where to be first, and then playing with passion, full speed. But they've gotten a little bit of that taste in their mouth, where they're coming down, they're striking people, and I think they like it, and of course we like watching it, like seeing that. But the results speak for themselves. They're really playing stingy on the defensive side of the football right now, and those DBs are coming down. They're all over the place, and like I said, they're not scared to hit.
Keelan not only led you in rushing, he also had 7 tackles against Ripley this week, and unusual for him to be on defense, but played very well.
Keelan, is certainly a capable guy there at linebacker. One of the more talented athletically guys we've got on the team. We've tried to limit him on defense because he's so important to the offense. We want him to stay fresh, healthy, and be able to run the ball effectively. But you get to this point in the season, everything's out the window. You got to put the best people on the field you can. We had Zion out this past week, so Keelan was the natural guy to step in there, did well. Keelan's athleticism on the defensive side brings a little more speed to the table. He's able to make plays on the edge. He doesn't have the experience at linebacker that some of the other guys do because he hasn't practiced it as much. But his athleticism makes up for that a lot, and just did a really good job. Like a lot of our guys, a couple of them were cramping, they had different things, but they played at such a high level for so long. Guys like Ethan Conley, Ethan Cathy, that they just gave it everything they got. We ask a guy to leave it on the field. I think that's what a lot of those guys did. I also think, the past few weeks we've gotten up on teams early. We've had running clocks, those types of things. So they had to play at that level for that amount of time in close to a month, right? So it was just, that's a testament to them, again, leaving it out on the field.
Several guys with 6 tackles. I got Jeb Bolin with 6. He's got 56 on the year. He's leading here in tackles. Caleb Shaw, he has 37 tackles on the year. Jaden Hicks had 6 tackles. He's second in tackles with 48, and Cortland Earl with 42. He's 4th in tackles. So all those guys had 6 this past week.
And all those guys are right there really close together as far as leading them. Jaden Hicks is the guy, he's one of the best, I tell him all the time, one of the best players on the team, gets after it, sets the edge. He can be on the right side and make plays on the left side of the field. Tremendous athlete. Jeb Bolin, you've seen him start out at safety. He's still playing at safety, but you've seen him start getting closer and closer to the box. He's just like he's an offense. He's so sound. He's so gritty, so tough. He is not scared to come down and hit people too. And with him coming down, that leaves Shaw back a little bit deeper, and he can play that center field guy, right? He's got such great speed, such great coverage. He's able to roam back there and make a lot of plays back there, both in the passing game and in the run game. And then, we talked about McCollin, got 2 corners that, after Friday night, I don't think anybody thinks they're scared to hit. So they're coming down hard too. Cortland Earl is a leader. He's a guy that is at every practice, does everything we ask him to do, leads. So the fact that he's, up there with those guys in tackles, doing a good job, is exciting to see as well.
Another guy, a couple of guys, Parker Skinner and Logan Deaton, both had 5 tackles this past week against Ripley.
Logan, like I said, he just had a tremendous game. Needed him to step up, needed him to have a big game. He did that. Parker Skinner's a guy, like I said, he's only a sophomore, but playing at a high level right now, doing a lot of really good things, and just a tough guy. He battled through injury early in the year a couple games ago, and is back, I think, finally feeling better and playing well for us.
Well, I'm going to say it. That's probably one of the best games I've seen New Albany play in many, many years. So congratulations, Coach.
We greatly appreciate it. Like I said, proud for those guys, proud for, you and everybody else. We're just excited. Anytime you win a big football game and play well, you get excited about it.
Well, one thing about it, hey, we got a playoff game, right? Friday night. We're playing great football at the right time.
Well, you certainly want to be playing your best football at this point. We're going to play Northeast Lauderdale, a good football team. Nobody, in the playoffs is a bad team at this point. You got to make sure you go into every game knowing what's going on, knowing your assignments, and then knowing what to do, and then executing. Execution, discipline, those are words that we can throw out all the time that lead you to having success. So looking forward to Friday night.
Well, before we take it to a break, or as we take it to a break, I know one thing we've started doing is our board talk with our player of the week. I know we're gonna get that in right now in a minute, and then we'll come back after the break and talk a little bit about our next opponent, right?
We'll talk about Northeast Lauderdale.
All right, we'll take it to a break.
It's finally game time. The smell of the fresh cut grass, the sound of the drums as the band gets ready to perform, and of course the roar of the crowd as our hometown New Albany Bulldogs enter the field. Jody Walls and Brady Brock with GumTree Mortgage here in New Albany remember those days and agree they were some of the best. They also want your mortgage experience to be the best as well. They pride themselves on excellent customer service and establishing a personal connection with their clients. They also have the knowledge and programs to fit your mortgage needs. So whether you're building, buying, or refinancing your current home, they want to help. Call them and set up an appointment today. Jody Walls and Brady Brock with GumTree Mortgage. Let them help make your dreams come true. Go Dogs!
We've got 2 of our players of the week this week for our Chalk Talk. We're going to talk a little bit about coverages. Both of these guys had huge interceptions last week against Ripley. Jeb's came in the second quarter. Yours was in the fourth, late in the game. Fourth quarter, McCollin made 1. But, there are 3 different base coverages. Now, there's a lot of different things you can do. A lot of different variations of these things. Some of this we do, some of it's a little bit different. But 3 of the most simple coverages are cover 2, cover 3, and cover 4. So in cover 2, basically, what are we talking about, Jeb McCollin? Cover 2, what comes to mind when you think cover 2?
Basically, in cover 2, the corners are a lot more aggressive. You know, when they see the flat route, they come down. And as a safety, you have to know that you can be able to cover a vertical route or anything over here. So I know he's just worried about getting down, trying to get picks or being aggressive, and I'm getting back.
Yep. So basically, cover 2, like you said, we've got 2 high guys. They've got half the field. So their job is to protect each half. The corners, like Jeff said, are aggressive. They can cover the flat route. This allows linebackers, a lot of times you can bring more pressure, and then they've got their areas of coverage too. But when you think about cover 2, think about 2 over the top, and think about those corners being aggressive. So great job, Jeff, explaining that. Next coverage is cover 3. Now we're going to have a flat defender that's not necessarily one of those 2 guys. So cover 3, just like cover 2, just like cover 2, now we've got 3 high. All right, so in a 2 high look that we run a lot, how do you get to cover 3 out of a shell with 4? One of these guys are rolling. A lot of times this safety's rolling down. Now you've got a third of the field with the corner, safety's rolling the middle of the field, other corner's right there. So that gives you your cover 3 look right there, right? A jib, a lot of times that's you're the guy that we bring down a whole lot, gets you closer to the box. So that would be a cover 3 look. All right, and then at this point, with this corner gone, now what's this outside linebacker got to do?
Get to the flat.
He's got to cover the flat right there. So you're kind of changing some of that up a little bit. Then the last one that we can do, and it's what Ripley plays a lot of, is cover 4. If you want things happening underneath you, these 4 deep guys, both corners and safeties, in cover 4, what are they all doing, McKylan?
Bailing back.
They're all bailing back, okay? So there's variations of it, but in cover 4, now you've got the 4 of them that are playing deep, making things happen in front of them. Your job there is not get beat deep, right? Everything's got to happen in front of you. So those are 3 of our coverages. People, again, all over the country use those things. There's variations of them. But as far as our shell and as far as these guys right here, that's what they're looking at. So appreciate you guys.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Pam Brown for your personal price plan today.
I'd like to welcome you back to Inside New Albany Football. Coach, we're hosting our first playoff game in a while, right?
Yeah, I think it's been 3 years ago. I think maybe we hosted Shannon's first round playoff game. So the second time in my 6 years being here, we've gotten to host a playoff game. So extremely excited about that. Told these guys, that's something to be proud of. Anytime you're getting to host a playoff game, it's a huge accomplishment. Northeast Lauderdale's coming into town. It's going to be a long travel drive for them. They're out closer to Meridian. But just excited to be home, excited to be in front of our fans. Friday night against Ripley, crowd really got into the game. Matt Tyre, or the voice of the Bulldogs, did a tremendous job pumping those guys up. Just those guys can feel that, right? I mean, when it's a big play, big game, Jeb, McKylan, all those guys, they feed off that. Coaches, it's the atmosphere we want here at Kitchens Field. So we appreciate all those people wanting to continue to come out this Friday. But yeah, Northeast Lauderdale, a good football team. They're coming to town. Their quarterback, I think it all starts offensively for them with their quarterback and running back. Number 1 is a tremendous athlete. But they're a good football team. We got to be ready.
I got quarterback number 1, Jemison. He's a junior, 5'10", 165 pounds. And the running back number 6, Johnson. He's a senior, 5'6", 155 pounds. Kind of sounds like Senatobia.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're quite that dynamic. And I'm not trying to sell them short. I think they're a really good football team, but I think Senatobia's quarterback and running back are 2 of the best duos in at least the north part of the state for sure. I think they are very good. I think number 1 is athletic. I think he does a good job. I think they're not a team that's going to drop back and pass the ball 20 or 30 times typically. They're back there because they're athletic and run the ball, although he can throw the football. I think the running back hits the hole. He reminds me of Cody Atkins. So the way Cody Atkins just used to come off and hit the hole, his first few steps are super quick. I think he's got that kind of talent. So we got to make sure we wrap him up quick. I think our defensive line every week is critical that they control the line of scrimmage, but even more so when you're a run-heavy team like they are, we've got to control that. You're seeing us play with 4 down more this part of this season. I think that'll help that. But we got to know where they're at. We've got to control number one and that running back.
I show Northeast Lauderdale is 5-5. They were third in their division, coming off a win over basically a winless Choctaw Central team, 44-7.
Yeah, I think they beat Choctaw Central. They beat Lee Central. We've got that film and have seen it. They played well at times against West Lauderdale and some other teams, though. They're capable. I think they're athletic. I think when you look at them on the defensive side of the ball, they've got some size. Number 20 is a big guy. I think he's only a sophomore. I think they're going to bring some pressure. They play based out of a 3-4. They typically are bringing more than 3, though. They're going to bring an outside linebacker, and inside linebacker's going to loop. Something like that's going to happen. I think they've got good speed on the back end. I think their DBs move well. I think it's going to be a challenge to make sure, Braden makes good decisions again, because he knows where those guys are, sees that pressure early and makes an adjustment off of it, throws his hot, different things that he can do, that we can do in pressure. I also think, it's an opportunity to play with the tight end and the H-back. I think the big offensive line that we talked about that we've got, it's an opportunity for them to really pound the football as well. So I'm just excited about the opportunity, like I said.
Their division lines up, West Lauderdale was the number 1 team out of the division, Newton County the second team in their division, Northeast Lauderdale, and then Lee Central.
And it's a division with a lot of good football. It's also a division that we don't play a lot of like teams, right? We don't, nobody on our schedule played anybody on their schedule. So it's kind of hard when you just watching film just by itself and don't have any other things to really go off of. It makes it a little different. We're not playing Shannon or Itawamba or Ripley or whoever, that we've got, a lot of experience with. We're playing teams that, our kids don't even know where they're at and stuff, and some of them that I'm not even sure where some of them are at. So we don't have as much to go off of by like opponents and that kind of thing. So, you're going to rely on film. We've got 4 or 5 different films for them. One of the best films we've got is West Lauderdale's, and that's their live stream, so able to watch it. The picture's really good on it, so we've been able to see numbers and stuff like that. But like I said, just a good football team. I think they got speed in the secondary. Like I said, that's what we got to be aware of, and we got to stop number 1 in that running back.
I show this is the first meeting between the Bulldogs and the Trojans. Wow. So first time ever.
Yeah.
We've been playing football since 21, so yeah. 1921. So.
Well, that's so a long time without playing. I'm glad we can, change that. Hopefully, we definitely need to be 1-0 against Northeast Lauderdale. I'm not sure when their school was built. I know we've been around a long time. I think they, played us in volleyball, so we can hopefully get a little revenge there and kind of get volleyball teams back. But, when you get to this point in the season, these guys have worked so hard. Now, all the hard work's put in. They've got to keep, just from a mental standpoint, just locking in, knowing what to do. Monday's got to be a great mental day. Tuesday, we got to see what they're doing, come in, know our assignments, break down. We got to, offensively, what's our game plan this week? Execute. Wednesday, you're doing the same thing. Thursday, you're putting the finishing touches on everything. You got to have a good week of practice. Then you got to be disciplined and give great effort. I'm not worried about our effort. Effort is never an issue with these guys. I think, anytime you play a big game, you've got to worry a little bit about kind of that letdown following that big game. I don't see that happening. I think these guys they're playing their best football at the time they need to be, and excited about Friday, excited about the opportunity to play in front of that home crowd. I want these guys to get after it and then, see what next week looks like.
One thing going into the playoffs, it's not going to get any easier, and every team you play is good, right? They don't get there for no reason,
Right.
So.
Well, you got to take it one game at a time. We want to play our best football game. Ripley was one of our best football games this past week. Well, we want to play even better this Friday, and then the next week and so on. And so ultimately, that's what you have to do in order to keep playing at this point.
Yeah, I heard some guys at Ole Miss say this past week. They don't even look at the record of the overall record. They just want to go 1-0 each week. Yeah.
Well, and 4A, specifically is pretty tight. There are a lot of really talented teams in it. A lot of teams that are talent level is about the same. So you can line up, play anybody, and you just have to play better that night, right? We have to make that play, make that block, whatever. We have to have short memories because you're gonna miss a play from time to time. We just, you go out there playing for the guy beside you, playing for the people in the stands, playing for people at your house. Those guys put that pressure on their back, and they want to perform. So they get to do that again Friday night, and we're excited about watching it.
Best of luck Friday night, Coach.
We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, we just need all the fans to come out to Kitchens Field this week and
Absolutely.
really have that atmosphere and, man,
Yeah.
just bring it, you know.
We're still trying to put the finishing touches on whether or not we're going to be live streaming the game or not. I know there's a pretty big fee from the MHSCA that's out there in order to do that. So whether we get to do that or not, we want you there at the field. I know there's a big tailgate they're doing on the band field prior to the game. So, bring a tent, bring some lawn chairs, bring some food, eat, have a good time, and then at 7 o'clock come down there, support this team. Like I said, it was pretty electric this past week. Want the same thing, want even more people there. Those guys work really hard, and they like I said, they put that pride of New Albany on their back, and they want to perform well for this community.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for tuning in to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Paul Henry and David Good, and the show is brought to us by
GumTree Mortgage, Brady Brock, and Jody Walls. See any of those guys for your mortgage needs, and then also Pam Brown at State Farm. So both those businesses do a tremendous job supporting them, and we greatly appreciate them.
Thank you, and go Bulldogs.
Here at Pam Brown State Farm, we are so excited to sponsor Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. We have served New Albany for a quarter of a century, and we are so proud to continue to serve this wonderful community far into the future. We look forward to a fantastic season for Coach Stubblefield and the Bulldogs. Good luck, and go Dogs!